Good morning, everyone. I am Crystal Hinkle. I'm part of the team here at Syncro. I'll let Ian introduce himself. Oh, I can't hear you, Ian.
Oh, and Zoom issues. Hey folks, I'm Ian, Chief Operating Officer, and happy to have you here.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you for joining us. Ian and I really enjoy doing these webinars. We try to keep these going about every 6 weeks or so. We release things so quickly, so often that you might miss an email or two along the way. So it's nice to be able to kind of compile a list and be able to show you via a screen share. The other great thing is this is also a nice platform to be able to ask some questions. So we do have I think we prefer using the Q&A. It just helps us manage those questions a little bit easier as they come in. So if you see me looking over on the screen, I'm just kind of that's what I'm looking at, kind of monitoring that and those questions as they come in. So I think we can just dive right in. So I'm going to share my screen here and then get rid of this part here. Okay. So the first thing that's worth just mentioning here is we've added a really large update to the way that you can manage your endpoints that have MCSoft enabled. So if you just head to a policy here, any policy, I'm just going to grab one. So from here, if you scroll down to where MCSoft is managed via the policy, and I enable it here, you see you have the ability to choose if you want to manage your MCSoft endpoints via Syncro, or you can choose through MCSoft. So MCSoft has a cloud console that we released that portion of it a few months ago, but this just makes it even easier for you. So if you want to manage within Syncro, we've added some things. A huge request was to be able to add device scans at a specific date and time. Prior to this, it was, I think you could choose like daily or weekly, but not specify a time. So we've given you the ability to do that. The other huge request to be able to do right within Syncro is to be able to enable the browser add-on. So this one, what's nice is that you can choose it's by default it's off because one of the major requests was our end users didn't want to see pop-ups. So now that comes off by default. You can turn it on, of course, if you want them to have like updates of new things or scans or threats and that kind of thing. So that just gives you a little bit more granular control there. Let's see here. So what's next? Let's go to tickets. We've added ticket subscribers. So I'm going to open a ticket that the demo technician is not the technician assigned. So I'm just going to hop into this ticket. It doesn't really matter. So you'll see that the assignee is this person. Now I can choose to subscribe myself. So if I just go to actions, I've already subscribed myself, so you can unsubscribe. But if you weren't already subscribed, you can see that it's just right there in the actions. And so this way, what's nice about this is that now if there's just a ticket that you want to follow, you can simply subscribe. All of the normal notification settings that you have on your account already will apply now. So as tickets are replied to or technicians send out emails, you'll be CC'd on that automatically. In addition to that, if you go to tickets here, you'll see that you can also sort by those that you're subscribed to. So you can quickly, it's just a quick click of a button. But then in addition to that, if you do create a new saved ticket search, there is a section here to also have that filter available there as well. All right, I'm going to head over, switching gears a little bit. I'm going to go to reports. One of the main things here that we've added, and this again, this was very, very highly requested. So I'm just going to open these two reports in a different screen here really quickly. So now you can see that, yes, this KB, it's missing on 6 assets. You now can install those and on all 6 assets without having to go into them individually. You can also select multiple KBs across additional devices and things like that and install them from here. On the flip side, just a different way of looking at that, you can do that per asset as well. So on this asset, for example, you can see there's 6 missing KBs. You can install those all from right here. So again, one of those major quality of life improvements that very, very highly requested. All right. Okay. back to tickets, and excuse it, we kind of fly through all of these, and so this is recorded. You can watch this back later, and then once we're kind of done going through all of the new stuff, we will tackle the Q&A as well. So I'm gonna just hop into a ticket here. This is really awesome. This saves a ton of click times. So if you're in your communication section within a ticket, whatever you want to communicate with your customer here, and really however you want to communicate that, when you submit any sort of communication now, you can also submit and change the status. So this was just one of those things that was very highly requested, so that instead of having to send communication and then scroll up to the top, change the status, you can do that all with one click now. Alrighty, I think I'll hand it over to Ian.
Okay, let's change the order really quick since we're already on this page. So one of the other things we shipped, there used to be on the ticket page on the left-hand side a red button that said send RMM agent installer link. So first of all, what we did was we moved it over to the right. It is now a drop down in the communication section where you can now pick a policy from your list of policies, and it will copy automatically and paste a link into your ticket body, and that will then, when you send that, the link will go straight to your installer with that particular policy. So it makes it really easy to send an installer to somebody if they want to install the agent, and that way they can do it instead of you. So that's now a lot more convenient. Okay, next, Syncro Live improvement. So we added a bunch of file system improvements. So now you can go in there, and I'll wait till she gets there, and you can do a bunch of new things. So if you go into, say, the C folder, C drive, I mean, you can create new folders, you can rename files, you can download, zip up, copy and paste, and delete files. So a lot more functionality in there. You can upload entire new folders, so it's a lot easier to use. And it's great. Okay, next. This was for coronavirus stuff to help you guys be able to stay in business and reach out to folks more easily. We made mailer templates that are pre-configured for you. They are starting points, of course. You can modify them from there. But we made 4 different templates based on different kinds of business use cases you might have. So there's some just to let people know, hey, we're still here. We're ready to help you. More like a no disruption of services kind of thing. If you have residential clients that you want to reach out to and see if they need help moving their business remote, we have a residential mailer there. 4 different templates. You can take a look at them, see what applies to you best, modify them to your liking, but they're there. Next, asset activity audit report. So there's a new report. Yep, it is that report, and what it enables you to do is see what's happening on all the different assets. You can sort by lots of different things like activity type. You can search for the text. You can filter by customer or by asset. And this just allows you to see what's happening and do an audit. So if you want to see, hey, when did we send a message, for example, using the new broadcast feature, you can see that for any customer. You could see when one of your techs decided to remote into a machine if maybe you had to let someone go, or you just want to audit what's happening, how often people are remoting into machines. You can do that. So super helpful report. You can get a PDF of it, or you can export it to CSV. Okay, next. We made it so you can do Wake on LAN. We know a lot of people are now not in their office. Maybe their computer's off. And you need to be able to access it to get them a file or something like that. So Wake on LAN was always a feature request, but we moved it up in the roadmap because of how much more important it is while we're adjusting to coronavirus. So now if an agent is offline, you can see in the dropdown there is a Wake on LAN button there that Crystal is showing, and it'll attempt to do Wake on LAN.
Awesome. Okay, and you just kind of mentioned this, so let's go. There's several ways to send a broadcast message. So let's just start with the first one. If you go into an asset that's online, you'll be able to head right over to actions and broadcast message. So whatever that might be, it's really nice. We'll do some live testing here. So I just sent a broadcast message to this specific endpoint. If I hop into a Syncro live session, we should be able to see that if we go into the remote desktop. So here, so yep, exactly. So this is one of those things that was really highly requested just in general, but like Ian mentioned, where we're all trying to adapt to what's going on and finding the quickest and easiest ways to get in touch with your customers, this is a really great way to do it. In addition to that, I just showed you how to do it on like a one particular asset level, but you can do this in mass as well. So you could select multiple machines here this way, and you could go to manage, and you could send a broadcast message here. I believe it's also in actions. And so you can do, you can use one of your saved asset searches too and send a message to a very specific subset of devices also. The other thing I'm going to kind of bake into this update is also the ability, once we released broadcast messages, we got an overwhelming, I guess, just request for it to be able to be scriptable. So we do listen to those requests. We see those as they come in, and we react. And so what we've done is you can now, if you create a script, you'll see your scripting window here. And if you scroll below that, in the PowerShell module here, you'll see at the bottom, you have the ability to send a broadcast message via a script. What's nice about this is you can use this in conjunction with our variables. So you can have one specific script that has a ton of different variables, maybe the contact's first name and that kind of thing. So you don't have to, you can make it very specific, but you can do it en masse to a lot of machines at one time and have very specific timing for that broadcast message. So again, very highly requested. We are listening. Okay, custom activity logging. So while I'm here in the PowerShell module, the other thing that we've added is this line. So you can now log activity. So a lot of folks were saying, hey, I'm running this script. I want to be able to see that in the feed. So it's all about just having this in the first line of your script, and then we have pre-configured this for you as well. So when you have that in a script, it's essentially where it'll populate. If you go into any asset here, it's just going to populate in the regular activity log. The nice thing about this is that activity report that you just saw, actually now you can specifically filter to just see custom activity alerts as well, or like activity feeds. And so that has really helped, I guess, your reporting get super granular, be aware of what's going on. All right, great. Let's see. Oh, one-click disable script. This is cool. Let's just go to Larry here really quick. And again, this feature was incredibly thought out when I was reviewing this feature. There's a lot of things that go with this. So it seems like here, you just got a click of a button, which is phenomenal. So say Larry has stopped paying me, and it looks like he has. You can essentially just disable all scripting. So just with a click of a button, it's going to give you a little prompt. You can say, yeah, we're done taking care of issues. This will also, if you have anything scheduled, so you probably have a queue sometimes of scripts that are being planned to be scheduled, this will, it's not going to get rid of that queue, it's just going to pause it, so that now when Larry does get back up to date, you can enable this scripting, and anything you had on a schedule will just continue to go. The nice thing about this is you can also override this on like a per script level as well. So if I were to go to this asset really quickly and say, I want to run a script, it's going to say, hey, this is currently disabled. Do you want to override this? It's going to give you the option to override that. And in addition to that, this is where I thought this is awesome and really well thought out. There's also now in your admin section, if you go to security groups, there's added security group settings. So you can, it's either like allow you or your technicians the ability to disable scripting, and then also the ability to override it if it has been disabled. And when it's ready to go, it's a click of a button and you're back to normal scripts enabled. All right. Public installer link. So this was really highly requested just to be able to grab an agent installer link very quickly. So now essentially what we've done is you can come over here just like you normally would. Any policy that you choose, you now have this clipboard. So you can just copy this link, drop it right into an email and send this off to your customer. So made that quite a bit easier for you. Let's see here. Contact notification update. So let me just hop into a contact right here. We've added actually 3 things. So I'll bake this all into one update. So we've added these 3 things, receive billing emails, marketing, or report emails. So this is just nice. The billing emails, of course, if this is selected, they're going to be automatically CC'd on invoices. Marketing emails, if you're going to send out a blast email for mailer and there's a button to select to send a customer or contacts, now they're going to get that. And then the same goes for reporting. The other thing that we've added here too is a direct report. So you can choose, like if you have a contact that maybe their manager has said, I just want to be notified anytime they submit a ticket. I need to know, that kind of thing. By assigning a direct report, that person will now be notified and CC'd on all tickets. So let me I created a ticket. Let me find that. Grab it really quickly. I created a ticket that has a direct contact on it. So you'll see the assigned contact is Larry Legend and I am the direct report. So now I will just get all communication back and forth so that I can keep up with what's going on. Okay, cool. I'm done for a sec. Ian's turn.
Okay, cool. All right, so next thing. So customer portal, in the customer portal, we added MFA. So if you head over, yep, and you scroll down to where we create portal users, I guess we can create a new one. And if you hit that down thing, okay, great. So that checkbox will require MFA for this user. So when they next log in, it'll show a screen where they set up MFA. It's optional. So if you want to enable it, you can, and then they'll be more secure. Highly recommend that. So lots of people were asking for it, and now you have it. Next thing, I know this seems small, but it's actually a huge time saver. I probably don't even have to tell you. Recurring invoices, you can now clone them. So if you want to create a template recurring invoice, you can do that, and then you can clone it or duplicate it in this case, and then you don't have to start from scratch. So hopefully that saves you a lot of time. I know it's small, but it's meaningful. Okay, next, another thing that has been very much asked for maybe years. Bring your own SMTP. So this is in beta now. You can now bring your own SMTP server for customer-facing emails. So that might be like ticket responses and things like that, mailer stuff. You can bring your own SMTP server, which hopefully, if you enable this, will get you in people's inboxes instead of their spam. So far, we've had really good feedback on this, and so you can check it out. And that pairs well with the mailer templates that we mentioned earlier that help you reach out to folks because of COVID. Okay, next, ticket communications report. So I'll wait till she gets there. So this is all the ticket comments, plus you get one-click access to the tickets. So you can see all the things that are happening in each ticket. And you can just click that view ticket button and it'll bring you straight there. Pretty straightforward, but very helpful. And you can filter by customer or by, comment type or in a particular range or for a particular employee. So if you wanted to see all the communications from one particular employee to all of your customers, you could do that. Okay. Next, we worked with Kelvin from Cyberdrain. You guys probably know him. He's like a PowerShell rock star. It's a funny thing to say out loud. and we worked with him. He's awesome. We had him work on this script for us. Uh, it basically enables Wake on LAN for devices. Obviously, the Wake on LAN feature that I talked about earlier is not very helpful if Wake on LAN isn't enabled. And it's a lot of work for you to go to every single office and turn Wake on LAN on. So this automates it via PowerShell scripting and then monitors it to make sure that it's working. So yeah, pretty straightforward, but a huge time saver. And hopefully Wake on LAN then works. Okay, over to you.
Awesome. Okay, well, this one's a little bit difficult to show because it has to do with our mobile app. However, we added a huge update. So it's basically a full alerts module. So now when you bring up the mobile app, you have an actual little selection that you can go straight to alerts. It'll be in two categories. Of recent and all, and by clicking into the actual alert, you can see the alert output, and it'll also give you a link to the direct asset. So you can mute or clear the alert in addition to that from the mobile app now. So again, we're continuing to rev and add things to the mobile app as requested. All right, drive monitoring improvements. So I'm going to head over to a policy again. So what's kind of cool about this, and I'm sure I've repeated myself several times, is we'll release a huge new feature, and then what we'll do is take feedback and add to it. So what's nice about this is that we added the ability to add drive monitors for whatever drive it is. And then in addition to that, we were like, well, we got requests for, well, what about all the other drives? Can we just have one kind of catch-all? So what we've done is now you have all other drives. So you can have very specific ones, and then all the rest of them can fall under this one set of thresholds. So we've added to that feature. Mass scheduling reports. So this has been great. So if we head to reports here, you now have this new, you've been able to schedule a lot of reports in the past, but now you can do this in mass. So if you go to scheduled reports, I'll just click a new one here. What's nice is you'll see a lot of the settings that are familiar to you. You can choose which report it is. If you have favorites, they'll be here available, but maybe it's the asset audit report, for example. Then you can choose which customers. So you can add a ton of customers here to this list that you want it to be scheduled. And then in addition to that, you could even use saved customer searches, which is pretty awesome. You can also then decide on all of these scheduled reports if there's any of your technicians or yourself that want to be updated and receive these reports as well. So again, this is when you want to schedule it en masse. There's also on individual reports, you can do that. You can have those scheduled also. The other thing that I think that it's kind of just worth mentioning, because I think hopefully you've all seen that, you know, over the past, couple months, you know, we really have shifted a lot to help out during this time. So I just thought it would be worth bringing up this blog post. I think I'll probably just put it in the chat as well, because if you scroll through here, you'll see that we have shipped a ton of things that Ian and I didn't even mention, or more content related things, or different ways that you can customize Syncro to really help with your changing possible business model. But we've done a lot of other kind of neat things too, just as far as resources for you. So if you kind of scroll through here, again, I'll put this in the chat box. One thing to highlight, we did release this MSP jobs site. For a while, we were hearing a lot of different things. Some managed service providers were so busy, they needed new technicians. They needed technicians like now. And so we spun up this site that you can go to and you can post if you're looking for a technician, and then vice versa. So if you are a technician looking for work, you can post there as well. So that's kind of one of those things. And again, if you kind of scroll down here, you'll see that we did release a lot of information to try to help through these times. So awesome. Okay, well, I'm looking over at the Q&A. I don't know if you've looked at it at all yet, Ian, but it's full. So I think it might be a good time to dive into that. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Let's see.
where do you want to start?
Uh,
Um, I'll just grab one. Is there a way to subscribe other technicians that are not you to a ticket? Often I have multi-techs working on one ticket. So I don't think that subscribes works if it's not for you. However, you can CC someone on a ticket that's not you, and it works essentially the same way. So you absolutely can add a CC to a ticket. Let's see. Is there a way to have fields password protected like the vault, but to allow individually who can view the content? So that's a good question because our password vault, if you're using our password vault to store encrypted fields, it's one password for your entire organization. So it's kind of like either you give them the password or not. On the flip side of that, though, like if you go to, so those are encrypted custom fields and utilizing that password vault password. But we also have credentials, and with credentials in our security group settings, you could choose, hey, this technician can have access to all credentials, this technician can't. So that would be one way around it. Am I missing anything on that one, Ian?
no, I think that's, yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. um SNMP monitoring.
Yeah, it's on the roadmap.
Okay. And then HIPAA. I'll say that, like a lot of the things on the roadmap, we did shift a little bit a couple months ago, and went full COVID related everything. But we're getting closer, right, Ian?
Yeah, we're very close.
Okay, cool. All right, so that covers that one. Okay, I'm just going to read this out loud. Any chance a fully email workflow for tickets is in the works? It's currently not possible to reply to a ticket at every point in the workflow. For example, one cannot do the first reply to a ticket without replying first in the UI.
You mean, so just to clarify, is that like I want to work on tickets via my email rather than via the Syncro UI?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
Got it. Whereas now you need to maybe like put it in the subject line or things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And I think that, I do hear that often. I think that is an active feature request. I'm not sure that it's roadmapped, but I know that
Uh,
it's.
um, I think there's a higher level thing there, that will be worked on eventually that will make you happy.
Um, all right. Okay. Let's see. Um, is there a report with the times of remote control, team viewer, or synchro live? Um, so what you can see, it's not like this technician was logged in for this specific amount of time, but what you can see in the activity log here, um, is like you can see I started a remote session 18 minutes ago. I think that answers that question.
Yeah, and there's that report that shows that.
Yep,
Does that I actually don't know this, you might. Does that do the same thing for TeamViewer and Screen Connect?
it does.
Yeah, okay.
It
That's
does.
what I thought.
Um, a feature request: can a progress bar be added to verify upload download of large files as they're happening? Huh.
It can. Uh, yes, it's definitely possible. Yeah, it doesn't exist right now.
Okay. Let's see here. Um, A lot of stuff around Syncro Live. Um, let's see. Are the actions taken in Syncro Live recorded in an audit log? With all of the new features, a malicious person could delete a lot of things easily, and we should not be able, and we should be able to track that down.
Um, I'd have to like get back to you on that. I'm not sure. There's a balance there where recording everything is not good for lots of reasons. There's definitely not a report, if that's what you're wondering right now, where you can go and look at every action. Um, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to answer this one from Darren. He says, we both have guitars in the background. Are we going to do a duet on one of these days? I'm a very bad guitar player,
Easy.
so no. Um,
I'm learning. It's a work in progress. So no.
um, okay. You got one?
Ross wants to know bulk actions available within Syncro Live. For instance, could I upload a file or folder to all assets with a policy or customer or grouping of my choosing? So through Syncro Live, no. You could, I mean, right now, unless I'm missing anything, Ian, right now, you would probably, to get drilled down to that specific subset of devices, you could do a saved asset search and run a script, but not through Syncro Live.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I don't even, that broke my brain a little bit. Like, what if you'd have to like, what, you'd overwrite? What if the folder doesn't exist and all the, I don't know. There's lots of gotchas in there. Yeah, the closest way, like Crystal said, is through scripting at the moment.
Let's see here. I like this one. This one's easy. No question. Just thanks for doing an awesome job. I like that. I'll go and hold on to that one. Let's see here. What else? Have you found one?
Um, sure. Has there been any updates with the agent on Mac computers? Not recently. I've been focusing on lots of other stuff. Uh, at some point, we'll come back to that and work on it.
All right. I'm going to read this one. From what I see, there is only one policy per device. If I want to have a policy for a client with the general things, I want to monitor for that client, but also I know that I have types of servers that I need to monitor, right? Yeah, so yeah, you can only have one policy per
We're gonna fix this.
machine, but yes, we are working on that.
We're gonna, yeah, we know that's an issue. We're gonna fix it.
Yep. And then please let us customize the headline of the broadcast message.
By the headline, do you mean like the window title?
Yeah, because title, body, and then by default, this is just gonna use your company logo, like what I did this and showed this in the live session. Um, Missing anything on that? I don't know.
Yeah, I think we'd need further clarification.
Okay. I don't know the answer to this, Ian. Is Wake on LAN also working when it is the only endpoint in the LAN segment?
I don't know the answer to that either.
Okay. If there are questions like this that we're not able to answer, our technical support team is phenomenal. So if there is anything that we're not able to cover, just shoot an email to help@syncromsp.com. I'm sure they have that answer. Do. Any way to have audit and track history of credential changes? I think we had that report. Let's see here. If you go to reports, and I think it's employees, isn't it? Where was that? Credential access. So I think this just shows who accessed specific credentials at the specific time. So hopefully that
Yeah,
is that
I don't think it shows like changes.
changes.
Um, but maybe changing something is accessing it. I'm not 100% sure. We can get clarification on that and follow up.
Yep, and then another question regarding the broadcast message. And I think I answered this, but just to reiterate, does it show our branding and not Syncro? Yes, it shows your logo. So whatever you set up in the admin section, it's going to show that, not Syncro. Good question. Another thing for broadcast messages. Can we put clickable links in those broadcast messages? I know HTML format. I'm not going to say no, but I'm fairly certain that's a no. But clickable links, I don't actually know.
I don't think so. I don't think you can.
I think that's
It's definitely not HTML.
definitely not HTML for sure.
That's interesting though.
Yeah, I can see use case for that. Okay. Is there a way to exclude patches from Syncro without running a script? So right now on a policy level, you can exclude entire patch categories. We're working on the ability to exclude specific KBs, but right now it's full categories. Let's see here. It's a long one.
Is there a way to pull labor hours for a specific client over time? Yes. You go to the reports. There's actually, I think, a couple different reports. I really like the customer detail report, which you can type a customer name and then you can pick the time period and run the report. And then what it will show you is like how many tickets and how much time was spent, what type of ticket. And then if you scroll down, you actually get a ticket summary. So every single ticket, who worked on it, what the issue was. And then you get actual time tracking. So the actual time and what was done. So this is one of them that I like. There are other reports that also talk about tech labor and time tracking and stuff that you can check out. I don't know if that solves what you were looking for, Michael, but it's one of my favorite ones.
Let's see here.
Got one from Neil. Live chat is probably my most pressing item. Cool. Just wait a little bit.
John wants to know, will the Bring Your Own SMTP integrate with the Microsoft 365 email services?
Yeah, it should work with Office 365. There's instructions on how to do it. Actually, if you go to that page.
Yeah.
Yeah, SMTP there. And then I think on the right-hand side, there's Office 365 settings help and G Suite settings help. And that should help you set that up.
Great. Okay. Let's see here.
Will we ever be able to add timed tickets via email? That's fun.
Ooh.
I actually yeah, we have some cool stuff coming at some point where you maybe could do that. That's not a use case I thought of for it, but yeah, I think you could do that at some point.
I'm trying to figure out a cool way to do that. I mean, right now, one of the cool ways you can automate that is through automated remediation. We have a line in our PowerShell module where you can add time to the ticket. So like if you had a specific alert come in, you could have it email the customer and then run the script to add the time. Right now, you could do something like that, but it wouldn't be triggered. It wouldn't be triggered from the email itself. But you're making Ian's brain go nuts, which is funny. Awesome.
Yeah, okay. we have some cool stuff coming at some point. That, yeah, you'll be happy about.
Let's see here. I see one and I don't know. I can look in the settings here really quick. Can you force all customers using the portal to have MFA? I didn't think
Um, I
so.
don't recall. I don't recall if there's a mass way to do it.
I don't,
Good question.
yeah. I, as far as I know, there's not a way to do that in Mass right now.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Um, yeah, somebody asked when I'm going to get a haircut. I don't know. When can I leave my house?
Oh, Ian. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Um, is it possible to limit tech permission to multiple or selected clients only instead of one customer? Right now, we have in security settings, in security groups, you can limit a technician to one customer. It's called single user permissions, but that would fall under a feature request to be able to select multiple clients for that. Let's see. Is there a way to turn off notifications of drive errors on USB keys?
Um, we've tried to. Are you getting that notification from event log monitoring or from the built-in alert? I guess either way. Um, with the built-in alert that's in the policies page, um, that one we've tried to reduce the number of event IDs so that it doesn't give you false positives, but it's a bit difficult because USB drives and like removable devices in general cause a bunch of events. And if you turn them off, the plus side is there's less noise, but the downside is for a real drive, you might miss an error. So I don't know. It's a balance. It used to be really bad, and we like kind of pared it down a little bit. But um, yeah, maybe there's some way we can refine that a bit.
Question here, and it has to do with those drives if you want to hit on it. For drive monitoring, how often does all other drives update? Um, as far as update, like you add a new drive, how quickly will we pick that up? I'm assuming that's what the question is. Or
Yeah, I think that particular check, I think it runs every 6 hours. It's either every 6 hours or every 24, and the reason for that is we don't actually want to do a bunch of unnecessary writes or reads to drives because it reduces their lifespan. And if there is an issue with the drive, the more reads and writes you do, the more likely it is to mess up the drive even more. And frankly, it's probably not going to change much over the course of 6 hours. So we try to do that, I think, every 6 hours. Yeah.
yeah, yep. Um, I'm gonna grab one. The question is, can we make different logo on packages? Put the client's logo on the system tray icon. So as far as the system tray icon, it can only, well, you can only have one and it's global. You can turn it on and off per policy. But one thing that I did want to mention while I'm here in policies, agent contact forms, one thing you can do is you can have a different agent contact form for every policy. So if, for example, if you wanted a totally new policy for all of your different customers, you could upload a different logo. So this one's by default, it's going to use your account logo, but you can add a totally different, and this could be your customer's logo. So if you haven't seen agent contact forms, I could bring that up really quickly, but this is where, like, if they click on the system tray icon and it says, and maybe you have something that says request or request service, it would pop up the agent contact form and that could have their logo. But the actual tray icon, it's global and it can only be one. All right. Um, Yeah, we kind of talked about that. Parent-child type policies. We are working on some changes there. Let's see.
Got one here. When will we be able to click the option update if present for third-party apps added through Chocolatey? Yeah, so we had to build custom code on top of Chocolatey in order to make that checkbox work for the existing ones. So the easiest way, if you want that checkbox to exist for a third-party app in Chocolatey, is actually to tell us which app it is. And if enough people ask us for that app, we'll just add it as one of the defaults above, so you don't have to add a custom one. Basically, what we have to do every time we add one of these is add a regular expression to pattern match the name of the app. Because Chocolatey doesn't actually know if an application is already installed on the computer, so we have to go and check if it's installed for that radio button to work. So yeah, tell us what apps you want added to the default list, and then you'll get the radio button for in the middle. You'll probably never get it unless, I guess we could enable you guys to write regular expressions, but the tech support team would probably hate me forever if we let you write regular expressions. This just doesn't seem like a good idea. Okay, so anyway, yeah, tell us what apps you want added to the default list, and we can add them.
Awesome. Okay, is there an API call coming to get asset activity? So I think we have it.
We
Well,
have an asset API thing, but I don't think we expose the asset activity. What would you use that for?
while we wait for an answer on that, a question from Charles: how do I add alerts and self-healing automation to a device? I am new, so I'm trying to make a decision on how your product works. So, glad you asked. Let's head over. I'll just show this really, really quickly. Obviously, the policy that's applied to the actual asset will be what is controlling what's being monitored and alerted on and that kind of thing. But what we do have at a high level to just show you what is possible, we do have automated remediation. So from here, this is where you can set up that self-healing type of thing. So you can choose, you've got a lot of different conditions, but one of the conditions you can just choose trigger category, and then really whatever that issue might be. So I mean, it can even be a custom script. So maybe you have a script running on something that's outside of the normal policy, even event log, custom event logs. But if it's a low hard drive space, for example, this is where you can further define. Maybe you only want that self-healing for a specific customer. You could have it do it on a policy level as well. So you can add additional conditions, and then here's your list of actions. So you can convert it to a ticket, run a script, clean up the issue, log time in the ticket, post it to Slack or Teams, clear the alert. So you could do everything here and completely come full circle without even having to touch the machine. Cool. What else?
People have asked if this is going to be recorded. It is. And yeah, we always post the recording on our YouTube channel. And also, sometimes it goes on Facebook too.
Yep. I did remember to hit record. I had a sudden moment of panic. I did. It's recording. All right. Let's see here. In the create ticket window, will it be implemented that add asset is searchable by contact name? I can do it when I add a ticket manually to an existing ticket.
Wait, I didn't get that.
I don't know if I quite understand either.
Where is that?
In the create ticket window. So does that mean if we're in
Oh, like attaching an asset to a ticket from there?
right here, could we do that in workflows?
Uh, yeah, so if you scroll down, I don't know what the default is here.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
so the default maybe doesn't have it, but in your workflows,
Let's see if everything workflow has it. So you can edit your workflows in your admin section and add these different sections. And so I think ticket summary related assets. So here,
Right.
um, yes, so you could do that. So you just head to your admin section under tickets, you'll see workflows and you can create a default workflow that automatically prompts you to add the asset. Okay. I have not looked
Um,
at chat at all, Ian. I was only looking at Q&A.
yep. Cool. There's some random questions in here that are basically just about reports. Let me just say we're working on reports. Um, we've released some of the infrastructure stuff, but we're gonna work on the executive summary report and some other stuff, and make those prettier and more useful and things like that. Steve says he would use the API call for asset activity for building his own reports. Yeah, we don't have an API endpoint for asset activity at the moment. There are probably some other things we don't have API endpoints for, but I'm not sure anybody's asked for that. So that's maybe a new one.
Charles wants to know, when you sign up for Syncro, how do we get training? So while you're on your trial, you will have a specific point of contact. If you don't know who that is, you can shoot me an email and I can tell you. And we'll give you a full product tour that's specific to your business and your workflow. And then in addition to that, it's cool, we did add this training section as well. We have a ton of resources here. Our knowledge base is phenomenal. We continue to add videos to our YouTube channel all the time. And our technical support team is phenomenal. So we definitely are here to provide the training needed to be successful for sure. All right, let's see. What else, Ian?
Feature requests from Randy. Zap your ability to update any entity. Yeah, just stay tuned. Yeah, we're doing something cooler than that. Yeah, more than that. Let's see.
David wants to know about integrating TechSuite into Syncro.
It already does.
So
Maybe he's got a more specific thing. I think what he's asking for is TechSuite for free. But
that makes sense.
yeah,
I
yeah,
get
of course. People want to pay less money for things. It makes sense to me.
But you can integrate TechSuite into Syncro right now. It's phenomenal. You can use our amazing scripting engine to actually run all of those procedures. It'll create a ticket, log all that information right into the ticket. So it is a great integration already.
Yeah, there's also so you can set up somewhat of an integration already. And like Crystal said, you can run it through scripts. So I'd be curious to know what you'd want added in addition. So David, there's actually a pre-built integration where if you enter the ticket number in TechSuite, it'll automatically put the report in the ticket for the asset. Let's see.
This is an interesting one. Can you add an external ticket number field to all tickets for tracking vendor or external help desk references? Well, tickets can have custom fields. So like you could have a custom field added to every ticket with a vendor's ticket number. Can you see any other way to do that?
Sorry, what time did they submit that?
11:31.
11:31. There are too many questions for me to keep track of. 11:31. Got it.
Yeah, I think it would have to be just done through a custom field right now.
Yeah. Um, comment from Bia. Would love more best practice documentation. Yeah, we've been trying to put out a lot more video content lately. I don't, you guys have probably noticed that, but our YouTube channel is a great um, resource, and we're trying to put out even more content there. I think if there, what one thing that would be really helpful is if there are things you guys want to know about, so best practices for this thing in particular, like we're happy to make that content for you guys, and we talk to a lot of MSPs, so we can kind of tell what folks are doing in general. Um, yeah, we're happy to make more content like that. I know it's really helpful for people. People like it when we release new videos. So
Awesome. Let's see. Question about Linux agent. I think that, I think that might be something we consider after the Mac agent is out of beta. Does that seem accurate?
it's I'd love to have a Linux agent. I wish I could use Linux. I used to when I was writing code myself. Um, so yeah, I would love to. But I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think there's just so much stuff we can still build for Windows and the Mac agent that it's hard for me to imagine we'll get to Linux anytime soon.
I'm going to grab one and I have it up on the screen right now. There was a question is, could we have a view window for the desktop in Syncro Live without connecting through a remote desktop? So it's not huge, but it is a thumbnail. So you could easily see if they were working on something, or you can see what's going on right now on their desktop. So I just got here using that little magnifying glass. So this is just a quick view on an asset, so you can see their desktop before launching into a remote session.
Yeah, and we purposely make that thumbnail incredibly small and incredibly bad quality. So you can't actually really read anything on it. Um, it's just to give you an idea of if they're using the machine or not.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. With back to that broadcast message question. Um, the text message from in the broadcast message.
Oh,
Got it.
could probably just remove that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Is that what you would want to do? Just remove that?
Work. Yeah. I think the first question or the first part of it was customize it, but I don't know. Okay, let's see here. What else? Um, is there an option to ping a router outside the company for monitoring? So you can set up a ping check from any asset here. So if I just drill into this asset and head to system checks, you can set that up here. So you can just do a ping and enter the remote host information. That would work, right?
As long as it was a public IP. But yeah. Yeah. On the otherwise, it you can ping anything that's on the agent's network, obviously, because it's in the network. But yeah, maybe you're asking about a router on another network. On the topic of IPs, Scott asks, will we be able to restrict login to Syncro from a specific IP address? We have a static IP and would like to restrict access to our account. Do you want to show him that,
Yeah.
Crystal?
Mm-hmm.
There is already a setting for that kind of thing.
I always forget. So it's under employees, right?
It might be under general. I always forget too where it is. It might be employee settings, yeah.
Employee setting.
Yeah, list of allowed IPs for technicians to use the site. So, you can whitelist IP addresses here. I highly recommend clicking the little eye icon and just reading about this feature before you use it. But yes, you can restrict IP addresses.
Wonderful. Well, I'm realizing that it has been an hour and we still have some questions that we did not get to today. So please reach out, whether it's to myself or if you have a point of contact already at Syncro. If it's technical, shoot an email to help@syncromsp.com. This is recorded. Like Ian mentioned, it'll be on the YouTube channel. We probably will post it on Facebook as well. But we really appreciate all of you joining us. These are fun as always. So thank you so much. Hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Bye,
Bye.
folks.